I join, but I need to really settle it well.
Dear Radhika, requesting you to please keep your service on mute, please. No, not now. I'm moving.
Please shut the door and
PA12, Chemeka Nair, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Good afternoon, dear participants. Would like to take the attendance to know how many are left to join. Is Radhike Mistry PA01 there in the meet? Okay. Siddharth Kannan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sanvi Chogule PA03?
Yes, Miss Present.
Bhavi Naik?
Yes, miss.
PA05 Saili Navrekar?
Yes, miss.
Okay. PA06 Zoya Sheikh?
Yes, ma'am. Present.
PA09 Sonia Fernandez? PA11 Harshita Chatterjee?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Rishita.
Sorry, Rishita Chatterjee. I correct myself. PA12 Chemeka Nair?
Yes, ma'am. And it's Shazmeka.
Please come again.
It's Shazmeka with a Z.
Shazmeka. Thank you, dear. PA13 Ania Oja? PA14 Siddhant Patil?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it's Siddhata Patil.
Siddhanta, it's meant, okay, Siddhata Patil. Okay.
Yeah.
PA16 Arya Rathod? They're yet to come. PA17 Master Hani Parmar? PA18 Tia Chetia?
Present, miss.
PA19 Palak Zaveri?
Yeah, ma'am.
PA24 Filza Patel?
Present, ma'am.
PA27 Tisya Kutti?
Present, ma'am.
PA10 Vishwa Desai? Okay, so we will wait for the participants to join. Dear participants, we are just waiting for our esteemed judge to join us, and we'll start the competition as soon as she joins. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Ms. Nagma.
Good afternoon, everyone.
We were desperately waiting for you, all the participants. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you.
So let's
Shall we
start.
begin? Yeah, let's begin.
A warm welcome to all the enthusiastic students, principals, and teachers. Tuning with you all for today is Ms. Pooja Rane for this inter-school event, Panache. Panache is an inter-school event organized for the first time by Ramnivas Bajaj English High School with an intention for providing a platform to our budding artists to showcase their talents and skills. It is an extraordinary platform for students from grades 1 to 10. I welcome all the honorable principals, well-acclaimed judge, and all treasured invitees, respected teachers, and of course, our enthusiastic participants. How lovely is the day, the ambience and aura surrounding it. Soon the colors of this merriment will unfold and will transport us to another world. Let us welcome the esteemed judge for the day, Ms. Nagma Sheikh, who has graced this event with her valuable time. Before I call out the participants, let me introduce the judge for the day, who will review today's contest so that we can announce the winners soon. Ms. Nagma Sheikh is a lifelong learner and a teacher who loves to express the nuances of English language and literature to all her students. She has been imparting this love of the language to students and teachers for 28 years. She has attended 2 CAIE conferences in Cambridge, UK, and more than 16 workshops, face-to-face and online, professional development courses conducted by the CAIE, that is Cambridge Assessment International Education, while teaching in the UAE and in India. Teacher, assistant manager academics, editor of school magazines and newsletters, teacher trainer, mentor, editor, and a reviewer of CAIE endorsed IGCSE and A-level English language and English literature textbooks by Cambridge University Press and HarperCollins, event coordinator, resource person, script writer, movie reviewer, reader, writer, singer, poet, painter. She has donned many a hat in her long and distinguished career, and her repertoire of experiences ranges from that of a learner to a master trainer. She is the recipient of many awards and accolades, such as the Nation Builder Award in 2015 and the India National Nation Builder Award for 2018 by the Rotary Club of Mumbai West Coast and the Teachers Help Teachers EduStar 2018 award. She won the British Council International School Award ISA as the co-coordinator twice. Cambridge University Press had accorded her with the title of the very first gold panelist for their worldwide online panel of CAIE English teachers in 2018 in recognition for her contributions to the panel discussions. She is the master trainer for CAIE, IGCSE First English language, English as a second language, and A-level English language and English general paper for MISA NISA, members of International School Association from 2016 till date. She has conducted many online professional development webinars for Cambridge international teachers and students till date, and more are in the pipeline. She has also reached out online to English teachers of other boards nationally and internationally and trained them. She herself has attended more than 100 webinars and online workshops in 2020 and continues to do so in 2021. Her most successful CUP training was on the topic Up Your Humor Quotient, which was attended by 1,000 participants on Zoom, and more than 2,000 have viewed it on YouTube and Facebook. Her passion for learning and teaching emanates from her commitment to her profession. It is a calling for her in service of the nation and her hopes and aspirations for her beloved learners. She loves watching football and her favorite team is Manchester United. A truly multifaceted personality. Thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing this occasion.
Thank you, ma'am, for that generous introduction. And now I am waiting to listen to your students, and I'm sure they are all going to do a marvelous job. All the best, everyone. I'm looking forward to listening to you all. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, certainly. A warm welcome once again to all the skilled participants who will unleash their talent in today's Be the Best Orator, the Declamation competition. Let us go through the rules of the participants. The participants are requested to follow all the rules and regulations. I'll read out the rules for you once. So the theme is to the homage to an eminent personality for grades 8 to 10. It's a live performance. The participant has to deliver a speech based on the theme. The participant can dress as per the famous personality chosen. The time duration of the speech should be of maximum 3 minutes. The participants have to deliver their speech on any one of the famous personalities from the field of literature, politics, business, or any other. There will be a negative marking if the participant exceeds the time. The speech of the participants should be clear and audible. You are not allowed to keep any reference material at the time of the performance. The use of any explicit language or offensive remarks is strictly not permitted and may lead to disqualification. The participants should keep their cameras turned on throughout their performance. The decision of the judge will be final. The judging criteria are content. You will be judged on content, clarity of speech, voice modulation, and memorization. So let's start. We are sure all the participants are set to showcase their talent. Yes, everyone?
Yes.
So let's put our hands together for the first participant. That is Radhike Mistry, or code PA01. Radhike Mistry.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
I wish a beautiful day to the dignitaries and my dear friends. Today, I would like to present a few ideas in the words and ensemble of the ex, and must I say, the most loved First Lady of the United States of America, Michelle Obama. Good morning, everybody. First of all, let me just take it in. I'm thrilled to be a part of this event, and it is beyond my pleasure to receive this platform to lay a few of my conceptions. I specifically want to speak upon the ways our lives sometimes work and other times don't. People out there want to put us in a box. High IQ, low IQ, high achievements, low achievements, girls, boys. I want to question it. Does it really determine my future? If my future were determined just by my performance on a standardized test, I wouldn't be here. I guarantee you that. I once met an immigrant boy who did not know how to speak English fluently. He later taught himself English and graduated as a scholar athlete with an outstanding score. Did not knowing English make that boy any less deserving? No. The point I want to highlight over here is that it is our virtues that make us what we are. Virtues decide our success and our failures. Your circumstances do not determine your future. It's your attitude, your commitment. It's you who decide how high you set your goals. You decide how hard will you work to achieve them. And it's again you who decides how to respond when something does not go your way. Let me tell you, you should never ever be embarrassed by those struggles. Instead, it is important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is one of your biggest advantages. And I know that because I've seen it myself. not just as a student working my days through school, but years later, before I came to the White House and I worked as a dean at a college. I saw students with the most possessions falling apart when they encountered a bad grade. They were ill-equipped to handle their first encounter with disappointment. As we all know, life will put many obstacles in your path that are far worse than a bad grade. You'll experience illnesses and losses, crises and setbacks that will come out of nowhere and knock you off your feet. But you have to develop that resilience and maturity that you need to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving through the pain. Keep moving forward. You have to develop that muscle. On that note, I would like to thank you. God bless and good luck on the road ahead. Thank you.
That was remarkable, Radhike. Well done. Let's now get ready for the next participant, Siddharth Kannan, PA02.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Speech delivered by Swami Vivekananda on September 11th, 1893, at the First World's Parliament of Religions. Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. And I thank you in the name of the millions and millions of Indian people of all classes and sects. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I will quote to you, brethren, a few lines from the hymn, which I remember to have repeated from my earliest boyhood, which is every day repeated by millions of human beings. As the different streams having their sources in different paths, which men take through different tendencies, various through they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to thee. The present convention, which is one of the most august assemblies ever held, is in itself a vindication, a declaration to the world of the wonderful doctrine preached in the Gita. Whosoever comes to me, through whatsoever form, I reach him. All men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. Much has been said of the common ground of religious unity. I am not going to just now venture into my own theory, but if anyone here hopes that this unity will come by the triumphs of their own religion and the destruction of the others, to him I say, the seed is put in the ground, and the earth and the air and water are placed around it. Does the seed become the earth or the air or the water? No, it becomes a plant. It develops after the law of its own growth, assimilates the air, the earth, and the water. Similar is the case with religion. The Christian is not to become a Hindu or a Buddhist, nor a Hindu or the Buddhist to become a Christian, but each must assimilate the spirit of the others and yet preserve his own individuality and grow according to his own law of growth. In the face of this evidence, if anybody dreams that the exclusive survival of his own religion and the destruction of the others, I pity him from the bottom of my heart and point out to him that upon the banner of every religion will soon be written, in spite of resistance, help and not fight, assimilation and not destruction, harmony and peace and not dissension. Thank you.
That was amazing, Siddharth. Let's now call upon our participant, Sanvi Namdev Chaubale, PA03.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I visible and audible?
Yes.
So good afternoon once again. I'm here to deliver a speech which has been first delivered by India's first woman Prime Minister, Miss Indira Gandhi. All the world appreciates a deed well done. And I think we have done many good deeds in the past. But let us not forget that the road ahead is very steep and we have many peaks to scale. Let us hope that we can do that with the same amount of confidence and courage with which we have faced earlier challenges, and that we will continue raising India to new heights of quality and of excellence. We can do so unitedly when there is peace in the world, when brotherhood and harmony prevail in every nook and corner of this beautiful world. We are only too keenly aware of our weaknesses, of the unnecessary discords and disputes between ourselves. Being familiar with pain and suffering, we do not want them to increase anyway. India is a country with diverse cultures and traditions, living together under one amalgamated roof, with each zone adding to the diversity of India in its own unique way. We must learn to identify ourselves as Indians, not as Hindus, not Muslims, not Sikhs, but Indians. It will therefore be this very spirit of brotherhood, of unity, that will be springing us forward towards our aim of a sovereign, self-sufficient nation, where the cherished principles of justice, equality, and liberty are imbibed by all. We have won many legendary wars in the past, and we have overcome some seemingly unsurmountable challenges. However, it is not these wars that defines us. It is the way we overcome the intra-national wars that defines India, that defines Indians. Our plea for peace is not out of superior virtue, but because peace is indispensable, because mankind now has the choice, the knowledge, and the power to prevent the calamity of extinction. It is truly said, united we stand, divided we fall. I firmly believe that every drop of blood that is within me will give life to India and strengthen it. Thank you.
Well said, Sanvi, and you look so pretty. Everyone, please, round of applause. Though it's virtual, but we need to boost them, motivate them as they have memorized so well. Yes, we can have virtual claps. Thank you, dear. So now we have Bhavi Naik, PA04.
Yeah.
Yes, Bhavi, are you ready?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm audible and visible, right? Oh. Good afternoon, everyone. I am PA04 Bhavi Nair, and today I'm giving a declamation speech which the Lok Sabha member Shashi Tharoor gave at the Oxford Union on 28th May 2015. Madam President, gentlemen, and ladies of the House, we had, for example, Sir Richard Otterway suggesting, challenging the very idea that it could be argued that the economic situation of the colonies was actually worsened by the experience of British colonialism. Well, I stand to offer you the Indian example, Sir Richard. India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time the British left, it was down to below 4%. Why? Simply because India had been governed for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. In fact, Britain's industrial revolution was actually premised upon the deindustrialization of India. The handloom weavers, for example, famed across the world, whose products were exported around the world. Britain came right in. There were actually these weavers making fine muslin, as light as wovenware, it was said. And Britain came right in, smashed their thumbs, broke their looms, imposed tariffs and duties on their cloth and products, and started, of course, taking their raw material from India and shipping back manufactured cloth, flooding the world's markets with what became the products of the dark and satanic mills of the Victoria in England. That meant that the weavers in India became beggars, and India went from being a world-famous exporter of finished cloth into an importer, went from having 27% of the world trade to less than 2%. Meanwhile, colonialists like Robert Clive brought their rotten boroughs in England on the proceeds of their loot in India, while taking the Hindi word loot into their dictionary as well as their habits. And the British had the gall to call him the Clive of India as if he belonged to the country, when all he really did was to ensure that much of the country belonged to him. As far as I'm concerned, the ability to acknowledge your wrong that has been done, to simply say sorry, will go a far, far, far longer way than some percentage of GDP in the form of aid. What is required, it seems to me, is accepting the principle that reparations are owed. Personally, I would be quite happy if it was £1 a year for the next 200 years after the last 200 years of Britain in India. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Well spoken, Bhavi.
Thank you.
Well done. So now, going forward, we now have Saili Narvekar, PA05.
Am I visible and audible, miss?
Yes, you can adjust the camera. Yeah, now you are. Yes, perfect.
Greetings, everyone. I'm a participant from the school code PA05, and today I'm going to quote an excerpt made up of words and thoughts of an Elizabethan woman which clearly reflect her appealing work. I'm obviously talking about the famous British modernist and author Virginia Woolf. I discovered that if I were going to review books, I should need to do a battle with a certain phantom. And the phantom happened to be a woman, and when I came to know her better, I named her after the famous heroine of the poem The Angel in the House. It was she, however, who came between me and my pages every time I started writing. It was she who bothered me and tormented me and wasted my time, so much so that I killed her. She was sympathetic, though, immensely charming, intensely, utterly unselfish. She excelled in the difficult arts of family life. She sacrificed herself daily. If there was a chicken, she took the leg. If there was a draught, she sat in it. In short, she was so constituted that she never had a mind of her own, but instead preferred to sympathize with the minds and wishes of others. Above all, I need not say it, she was pure. Her purity was supposed to be her chief beauty, her blushes, her great graces. In those days, the last of Queen Victoria, every house had its own angel. I met mine when I first started writing my first review. I felt the shadow of her wings on my pages, the rustling of skirts in the room. Directly, as if to say, I took my pen to start writing this review about a novel by some famous man when she came behind me and whispered in my ear, "My dear, you're a young woman. You're writing about a book written by a man. Be sympathetic. Be tender. Flatter, deceive, use the arts and wiles of your sex, and never let anybody know that you have a mind of your own. Above all, be pure." And she made as if to guide my hand while writing, but, well, had I not stopped her, she would have plucked the heart out of my own writing. Had I not killed her, she would have killed me. Thank you.
That was mesmerizing, Saili. Well done. Let's now ask Zoya Sheikh to get ready for her performance. PA06.
I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, Zoya.
Yeah, may I start?
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm here to declamate a speech by Michelle Obama at the White House at an event honoring the 2017 School Counselor of the Year. I want our young people to know that they matter, that they belong. So you hear me, young people? Don't be afraid. Be hopeful, be focused, be determined, be empowered. Empower yourselves with a good education. With a lot of hard work and a good education, anything is possible. And when you encounter obstacles, and I guarantee you will, many of you already have, and you are struggling and you start thinking of giving up, I want you to remember the power of hope, the belief that something better is always possible if you are willing to work for it and fight for it. If we work hard and believe in ourselves, we could be whatever we dream to be, regardless of the limitations that others may place on us. The hope that people will see us for who we truly are is maybe, just maybe, they too will be inspired and rise to their best possible selves. I want you to prepare yourselves to be informed. And that means getting the best education possible so you can think critically, so you can express yourself clearly, so you can get a job and support yourself and your family, so you can be a positive force in your community. You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it is important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is one of your biggest advantages. And I say that because I have seen it myself. I have encountered students who had every possible advantage. Their parents paid their tuition fees, they lived in beautiful college dorms, they had every material possession a college could want, cars, computers, spending money. But when some of them got their first bad grades, they just fell apart. They lost it because they were ill-equipped to handle their first encounter with disappointment and falling short. Life will put many obstacles in your way that are far worse than a bad grade. You will have unreasonable bosses, difficult clients, and patients. You'll experience losses and crisis, illness and setbacks that will come out of nowhere and knock you off your feet. But unlike so many other young people, you would have already developed that resilience, that maturity that you need to keep yourself up and keep moving through the pain. Thank you.
Phenomenal, Zoya. Very nice. So let's now call upon Sonia Fernandez, PA09. Sonia Fernandez.
Yes.
Yes.
A very good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sonia Fernandez, and today I'm here to deliver a speech as Rabindranath Tagore. Today, I complete 80 years of my life. As I look back on the vast stretch of years that lie behind me and see in clear perspective the history of my early development, I am struck by the change that has taken place both in my own attitude and in the psychology of my countrymen. A change that carries within it a cause of profound tragedy. Our direct contact with the larger world of men was linked up with the contemporary history of the English people, whom we came to know in those earlier days. It was mainly through their mighty literature that we formed our ideas with regard to these newcomers to our Indian shores. In those days, the type of learning that was served out to us was neither plentiful nor diverse, nor was the spirit of scientific inquiry very much in evidence. Thus, their scope being strictly limited, the educated of those days had recourse to English language and literature. Their days and nights were eloquent with stately declamations of work and Macaulay's long rolling sentences. Discussions centered upon Shakespeare's drama and Byron's poetry, and above all upon the large-hearted liberalism of the 19th century English politics. At that time, though, tentative attempts were being made to gain our national independence. At heart, we had now lost faith in the generosity of the English race. This belief was so firmly rooted in the sentiment of our leaders as to lead them to hope that the victor would of his own grace pave the path of freedom for the vanquished. This belief was based upon the fact that England at that time provided shelter to all those who had to flee from persecution in their own country. Political martyrs who had suffered for the honor of their people were accorded unreserved welcome at the hands of the English. I was impressed by this evidence of liberal humanity and the character of the English, and thus I was led to set them on the pedestal of my highest respect. Their generosity in their national character, not yet appreciated by imperialist pride. About this time, as a boy in England, I had the opportunity of listening to speeches of John Bright both in and outside the Parliament. The large-hearted radical liberalism of those speeches, overflowing all narrow national bounds, had made so deep an impression on my mind that something of it lingers even today, even in these days of graceless disillusionment. Thank you.
Well done, well performed, Sonia. Going forward, we now have Rishita Chatterjee, PA 11.
Ma'am, visible, right?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rishita Chatterjee. I am from school PA 11. Today, I am here to deliver a speech titled, I Want to Fly. A young girl, witnessing a chain of events which is gradually snatching her dream away, slowly chopping off the wings of a bird like her. She, who is too keen to continue her education, too impatient to publish the words of her heart and finally spring her dream to life. All of the events witnessed were nothing less than a never-ending nightmare for the young Pakistani girl, Malala Yousafzai. Being in one's youth, one wants to enjoy the gift of innocence. But as the Taliban snatched that away, now she only wished for a simple life where all children, irrespective of their gender, would go to school, study, and become independent. With the support of her parents, she gave numerous speeches everywhere, which motivated every child, especially girls, to fight for their rights. Her bravery, too determined to shrink away, too adamant to look at the odds. She continued to study and make others receive education, even in the midst of continuous threats and warnings. She saw horrific violence on the roads as all who disobeyed were punished. Who knew this one girl's voice, bravado, and actions was a threat to a group termed as terrorists? She saw it coming. A bullet pierced through her. Did that silence her? No. A mere bullet was too little to soften this angry, stubborn, and sad soul. All it did was raise her voice, which echoed throughout the world, louder. What was it trying to say? Just that everyone in the world deserved to be educated. This Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Rather, this simple, stubborn young girl from the Swat Valley of Pakistan stands to be not just mine, but a role model of thousands. Thank you.
Very impressive, Rishita. Okay, so we have our next participant, Chemeka Nair, PA 12.
It's Shazmika.
Chemeka?
Yes.
Sorry.
Am I visible and audible?
Yes, dear. Shazmeka, yeah.
Words mean more than what is said down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning. And that is exactly what the great Sarojini Naidu did while addressing the House when the resolution regarding the tricolor national flag was introduced. In her own words, I think that the time has come in the onward march of the world's civilization when there should no longer be any sex separation in the service of the country. I therefore speak on behalf of that ancient reborn mother with her undivided heart and indivisible spirit, whose love is equal for all her children, no matter what corner they come from, in what temples or mosques they worship, what language they speak, or what culture they profess. Many times in my travels abroad, I have suffered terrible moments of anguish in free countries because India possessed no flag. I was asked to speak at a peace celebration in New York soon after the peace had been signed. 44 nations had their flags fluttering in the great hall in which the assembly met. I looked at the flags of all the nations, and when I spoke, I cried that though I did not see in that great assembly of free nations the flag of free India, it would become the most historic flag of the world in the not distant future. But here today, we retrieve that shame and that sorrow. We attain our own flag, the flag of free India. Today, we justify, we vindicate, and we salute this flag, under which so many hundreds and thousands of us have fought and suffered. I was asked by a man who was blind with prejudice, how can you speak of this flag as the flag of India? India is divided. I told him that this is merely a geographical separation. There is no spirit of separation in the heart of India. That wheel, what does it represent? It represents the Dharma Chakra of Ashoka. Does it not represent the rays of the sun? Does it not represent eternity? Does it not represent the human mind? To whom does it belong? It belongs to India. It belongs to all India. Pandit Nehru told us that India has never been exclusive. I wish he had added, India welcomes all knowledge from friend and foe alike. Remember, under this flag, there is no prince and there is no peasant. There is no rich and there is no poor. There is no privilege. There is only duty and responsibility and sacrifice. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Exceptional, dear. Well done. Now I call upon Anya Oja, PA 13.
Yes, ma'am, just a second.
Anya Oja.
I must, profess that I am really impressed by all the contestants. By the time the next contestant is ready, I just want to say this. It's been a fabulous time that I have been spending with all of you. Honestly, it's going to be very difficult for me to judge. But fantastic, fantastic.
True, ma'am. Yes, Anya.
I hope you can see me.
Yes, if you can adjust the angle of your camera little
Okay.
down towards you. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so ma'am, I'm just starting. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anya. Today, I'm going to talk about the great William Shakespeare, who is certainly a very famous writer. The man is credited with an unbelievable 38 plays, 2 narrative poems, several other poems, and a whopping 154 sonnets. So let's take a peek inside life of this genius. To begin with the early life of William Shakespeare, he was born to a very successful businessman on 23rd April of the year 1564. His mother was the daughter of a landlord and came from a well-to-do family. At the age of 7, William began attending the grammar school. One can say that William Shakespeare's use of nature in his writings was due to his influence of the woods and surroundings in his grammar school. Furthermore, I would like to elaborate on the illustrious career of William Shakespeare. After his education, William Shakespeare became engaged in his theatrical life in London. Furthermore, it was from here that his career likely took off. Moreover, by the year 1592, the popularity of William Shakespeare had to be grown very much. Shakespeare became a member of one of the famous theatre companies in the city. Also, the theatre companies during that era were commercial organizations that were dependent upon the audience who came to watch the play. From the year 1592, Shakespeare became the leading member of the acting group and remained in that post for the rest of his career. By the year 1594, the production of at least 6 plays had taken place by William Shakespeare. Evidence show that Shakespeare became a member of a well-known traveling theatre group. After joining this theatre, Shakespeare did plays in the presence of many dignitaries in various places. Shakespeare, throughout his life, came up with some outstanding pieces of literature involving memorable, timeless characters with human qualities. Shakespeare retired from his acting profession in 1613 and became completely devoted to writing many excellent plays. I'm just going to conclude by saying William Shakespeare is without a doubt one of the greatest writers of all time. Furthermore, his excellence on story writing, narrative building, and character development are of the highest order. Furthermore, his works are characterized by outstanding narrative building around the topics of jealousy, mystery, love, magic, death, murder, life, revenge, and grief. That is why William Shakespeare is so famous. Some of the most famous works of William Shakespeare are Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and Much Ado About Nothing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anya. Now, going forward, we have now Siddhartha Patil.
Yes, ma'am.
PA 14.
Ma'am, am I visible and audible?
Yes, dear. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, myself, I represent school PA 14. So today I am going to an eminent personality from literature. So, ma'am, can I start?
Yes, please.
Some people call me the girl who was shot by the Taliban, and some call me the girl who fought for her rights. As far as I know, I'm just a committed and even stubborn person who wants to see every child getting quality education. As my world changed, my priorities changed too. I had two options. One was to remain silent and wait to be killed. And the second option was to speak up. Yes, I chose the second option. I spoke up. I share my story not because it is unique, but because it is not. Though I appear as a lone girl, 5'2" tall, if you include my high heels, I am not a lone voice. I am many. I am Malala. But I am also Shazia. I am Kainat Sonro. I am Moziun. I am Amina. I am those 66 million girls who are deprived of education. In year 2015, world representatives will meet. It is not the time to make the world leaders realize how important education is. It is because they already know their children are in good school. It is the time to call them to take action for world's stressed children. So that today is the last day that we see a child being deprived of education. So that today is the last day we see a child going to the factory instead of going to school. So let's end this today, right now, right here. Let's begin this ending. At last, I would like to tell, one pen, one book, and one teacher can change the whole world. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was indeed a remarkable performance, Siddhartha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have Arya Rathod, PA 16.
Am I visible, ma'am?
Yes, dear.
So can I start?
Yes, please.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And the inspiring words by Martin Luther King Jr., an American Baptist minister and social activist. A very good afternoon to all esteemed judges. I am Arya Rathod, and today I would like to deliver an excerpt from a famous speech, I Have a Dream, delivered on August 28, 1963. I feel extremely proud to recite this historic speech, which goes like this. Even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live to the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, even in the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even in the state of Mississippi, sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day be able to live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of the skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places shall be made plain, and the crooked places shall be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope, and this is the faith with which I will go back to the south with. With this faith, we'll be able to hew out from the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, pray together, struggle together, go to jail together, stand up for freedom together, knowing that we'll be free one day. Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Thank you.
Remarkable, Arya. I actually had goosebumps the way you presented yourself. Well done. Next we have Hani Parmar. Are you present, Hani? Are you there, Hani Parmar? PA 17. Ma'am, please note, Hani Parmar is absent.
Okay, ma'am. In case she joins later, we can invite her to speak.
Yes.
So should I move on to the next participant, the contestant?
Yes.
Okay.
We have with us Tia Chettiar, PA 18.
Miss, am I audible?
Yes, dear. Go ahead.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. My name is Tia Chettiar, and I will be delivering William Faulkner's Banquet speech, which he delivered when he received the Nobel Prize in the year 1950. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel that this award was not made to me as a man, but to my work, a life's work in the agony and sweat of the human spirit. Not for glory, and least of all for profit, but to create out of the human spirit something which did not exist before. So this award is only mine in trust. It will not be difficult to find a dedication for the money part of it, commensurate with the purpose and significance of its origin. But I would like to do the same with the acclaim too, by using this moment as the pinnacle from which I might be listened to by all the young men and women dedicated to the same anguish and travail, among whom is that one who will someday stand here where I am standing. Our tragedy today is a general and universal physical fear so long sustained by now that we can even bear it. There are no longer the problems of the spirit. There is only one question. When will I be blown up? Because of this, the young man or woman writing today has forgotten that the problems of the heart in conflict with itself can alone make for good writing, because only that is worth writing about, worth the agony and the sweat. He must learn these again. He must teach himself that the basis of all things is to be afraid, and teaching himself that, forget it forever, leaving no room in his workshop for anything but the old verities and truths of the heart, the old universal truths lacking which any story is ephemeral and doomed. Love in honor and pity in pride and compassion and sacrifice. Until he learns these, he labors under a curse. He writes not of love, but of lust, of defeats in which no one loses anything of value, of victories without hope, and worst of all, without pity or compassion. His griefs breathe on no universal bones, leaving no scars. He writes not of the heart, but of the glands. Until he relearns these things, he will write as though he stood among and watched the end of man. I decline to accept the end of man. It is easy enough to state that man is immortal simply because he will endure. That when the last ding-dong of doom has clanged and faded from the last worthless rock hanging tideless in the last red and dying evening, that there will still be one more voice, that of his own puny, inexhaustible voice, still talking. Thank you.
Well done. It was remarkable, Tia. And you look so pretty, disguised as your personality that you have chosen. Well done. Next, we have Falak Zaveri, PA 19.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to present the speech of Kiran Shaw, chairperson of Biocom. In a country where men often dominate sports, several amazing women burst onto the stage to not only win glory for India, but also make history at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. They have shown that today's India is a home to a confident new breed of women who have the self-belief that allows them to excel in any domain and compete with their male counterparts on an equal footing. Many of them are outperforming their male colleagues and assuming leadership roles in their respective fields. Through sheer determination and hard work, these women have broken through gender barriers imposed on them by society, made a mark for themselves, and inspired a future generation of girls. I myself had to break gender barrier when I started Biocon in 1978. As a young 25-year-old woman entrepreneur with no business background and limited financial resources. To begin with, entrepreneurship was a new phenomenon that was only for daring men and certainly not a career choice for women. Banks were unwilling to lend to me because I was considered high risk in the business world. Professionals did not want to work for me as they felt I could not provide them job security. However, I was driven by my passion to pursue the road less taken and make a difference. Having built India's largest enzymes company in the early 1980s, I decided to pursue the path of affordable innovation to develop complex biopharmaceuticals for chronic diseases like diabetes and cancer to enhance access for patients worldwide, thus impacting global health. Today, 43 years down the road, Biocon is a global biopharmaceuticals powerhouse. Interestingly, there are over 8 million businesses managed by women entrepreneurs in India currently. It is my firm belief that women will be at the forefront of transformational, economic, and societal change in India. Thank you.
That was phenomenal. Falak, well done, dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now we have Filza Patel, PA 24.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, dear. Go ahead.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Filza Patel of class 10, would like to declamate Oprah Winfrey. I'm asking the bigger question of who am I? Who am I really? My answer is I'm God's child. I am that which is born of all that is. And my spirit is shod and set a spiritual being having a human experience, come trailing the breath of ancestors, yet but trailing the breath of angels, and understanding that because I am connected to all that is possible, and it's possible for me. And what do I want? I don't want just to be successful in the world. I don't want just to have a mark or have a legacy. The answer to that question for me is I want to fulfill the highest truest expression of myself as a human being. I want to fulfill the promise that the Creator dreamed when He dreamed the cells that made up. What I want is you must have some kind of vision in your life. Even if you don't know the plan, you have to have some kind of direction in which you choose to go. And I was the kind of woman who liked to get in the car and just go for a ride. You want to be in the driver's seat of your own life, and if you're not, life will drive you. Knowing who you really are in the space and time that we embody. That's number one. What do you want? Who are you? Number two, you must find a way to serve. Martin Luther King said, not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. Now, we live in a world where everybody wants to be famous, and we admire people for just being famous. And we think being known brings us value. The truth is, all of that will fade in time. Service and significance that you bring to your service is lasting. So to be able to whatever your job, your occupation, your talent or gift is. Our honorees today get inducted degrees to apparently opposite fields of HIV and AIDS and spoken word, but what they have in common is service. You produce your product in a way to give it back to the world. Success, I promise, will follow you. Be excellent. Let excellence be your brand. I know when you're excellent, you are unforgettable. People remember you. You stand out. When you do the right thing will follow you back. And I promise you that. Why? Because third law of motion is always at work. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So my greatest advice to you is to surround yourself with people. Surround yourself with people who are going to fill your cup until your cup runneth over. Be connected to your inner source. Whenever you feel empty, you go inside yourself and feel connected, and you know that all things are possible. Thank you.
Well articulated, Filza. Good. Nagma ma'am, we have one more participant. Her name is Vishwa Desai, PA10. She has.
And what about the last participant? She will be here as well?
Yes, she's there.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just check if Vishwa has joined us because
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Vishwa Desai, PA10, are you there in the meet? I suppose she has not joined here. So let's go to the last contestant, Tisya Kutti. Tisya Kutti, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Tisya Kutti.
PA27.
Yes, miss. Miss, am I visible?
Yes,
and audible?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, miss. Okay. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Tisya Sukesh from grade 9 studying in Vikya High, Buruvli. Today, I would like to take upon this opportunity to talk about a person who is an inspiration to many people, young or old. Oftentimes, they show in movies that women who sport black clothing, wacky hairdos, tattoos, and who pull off crazy stunts are tough and intimidating. But do they know that a woman who is dressed in a simple cotton sari can be a superhero in real life? Mother Teresa was one of these women, and Padma Shri Sudha Murthy is yet another name that goes on that list. Miss Murthy is all women in one. She's a determined doer, a global trotter, a resilient social worker, a brilliant engineer, a homemaker, an author, and she keeps adding more roles to her ever-growing persona. She faced difficult choices when it was a man-only tech world. She was daring enough to flaunt a bob haircut in the late 60s, which itself was a scandal back then, and later on became a significant part and the backbone of Infosys. In the 1960s, Sudha was the first woman to enroll in engineering when it was considered a male dorm. It was such a men thing that there did not even exist a women's toilet in the campus. Being the only female in 150 students, spilled ink on her chair and paper airplanes being thrown her way were how her college days were spent like. Everyone knew her marks before the exam results were announced, and her scores were the first thing that were put up on the wall. But Sudha, she was unfazed because she had a bigger goal in place. While applying for her position at Telco, she had found a note that said that women
female candidates, they didn't need to apply, which she did not appreciate, and she wrote to J.R.D. Tata raising the issue of a men-only gender bias at Telco, asking him how a prime and innovative house like the Tatas, which always thought ahead of time, could put such an absurd restriction. To her surprise, she was granted a special interview with a paid round trip and was hired on spot. She then joined India's largest manufacturer, Tata, as a development engineer and worked in various locations. Sudha is a best-selling writer and has sold over 1.5 million books, which include a diverse range of children books, short stories, technical books, travelogues, 24 novels, and numerous non-fictional titles. From gender discrimination to when she was called cattle class in London, Miss Murthy has time and again stood up for what she has believed in and has always spoken her mind. Women like Sudha Murthy, who worked hard in order to achieve her own dreams, her goals, inspire and motivate other women and men to believe in their aspirations and work hard to achieve them. I would like to conclude today's speech with a quote. We should always have some aim in life which we must try to achieve while being of help to others. Thank you.
Well spoken, Tisya. Yes, Sudhamurthy is also one of my favorites. Well done. With this, we end today's competition. A big round of applause for all our participants, please. Yes. It was indeed a tough competition as all the participants put up their best and all have thought out of box to come up with unique personalities. You all must be eagerly awaiting the results. We shall try to do it as soon as possible. Please note that the results will be announced later. Now, I would like to call upon our esteemed judge to share her inputs with the participants and say a few words of encouragement. Here to you.
Thank you, Ms. Pooja, for inviting me. Hello, children. Hello, everyone. Delightful, encouraging, engaging, heartwarming, impressive. I think the adjectives could go on and on. You all spoke with confidence, conviction, poise, and panache. I think you really symbolized the competition. I loved the choice of speeches. They are a reflection of your beliefs. I mean, I just loved that. The fact that some of you emulated the style of speaking. I'm sure you've been watching the YouTube videos, yes, so that you could speak like those speakers, and some of you even dressed accordingly. I love that you took that trouble because it really added to your speeches. The greatest fear generally is believed to be the fear of public speaking. And one of the reasons is that people feel that they would fail in front of so many people. But I think you have successfully defeated that fear. Children, hats off to you, bravo. It is also believed that the future truly lies in the hands of our children, and you, dear children, have beautifully, purposefully, powerfully, proved it beyond the shadow of a doubt. Surely your parents, friends, teachers, and schools will be proud of you. One of my favorite writers, Fyodor Dostoevsky, he said, the soul is healed by being with children. And today I really felt that. The entire world is in great need of healing. And children, you are the beacons of hope for us. You are the beacons of love, progress, and healing for us. So I wish you all the best. Please keep taking part in these type of competitions. Keep honing your speaking skills. I have been impressed. I would say super impressive speeches. Thank you very much for making my day. I will be remembering these speeches for a long time to come. In fact, it's going to be very difficult for me to judge. So it's going to be very minor things like your pronunciation, your intonation, the way you carried the grammar of the speech, the way you brought about the feelings that were, to be elicited from the speech. All that will be part of the marking. But I won't say that all are winners. You anyways are. I mean, the very fact that you participated is enough to prove that. I wish you all the best once again and have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your kind words, ma'am. It's time to bid adieu to everyone. Your presence made this day and this event more amazing. Thank you for all the encouragement and for giving us your precious time. I'm grateful to our honorable judge, Ms. Nagma Sheikh, for her gracious presence. Please give a round of applause to all our talented participants for their captivating performance. Though virtual, we were all hypnotized with the enthralling performance. Am I right or no? So please give, yes, virtual claps would be better, yes. Amazing. Thank you once again. Have a nice day. Thank you, Ms. Nagma, for lending your precious time to us. I know how busy you are.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, children. You were amazing. Awesome. Absolutely super. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.